You guys, we're still at the Getty and we're still studying Raphael. Okay, so let's have some fun. Um, Trying to find some good poses. It's funny. Raphael, trying to find good poses. Get the best. Okay, so let's see what we got going here. So this guy doesn't have a head, but we can fix that. So we're pulling the pen. So look at, well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 lines just to try to figure out what direction the rib cage is going. Rib cage, we would give it a little break. We'll come down here to the pelvis, and it's going this way, the lower part. See? So we're not going to get into the book of honesty and integrity. I'm just not in the mood. I'll complain. But if you notice that a lot of the people that are online that are talking about learning drawing, like learning animation in 3 days or something, they're really old. They didn't get into animation like a year ago. They've been doing it for about 355,000 years and working really hard. So if they had to pay their dues, why not you? So just think about that. If it's too good to be true, maybe it is. Okay, so here's scapula, deltoid, latissimus dorsi. So the first thing you want to do is, tell the story. Then you can go to shape, and then from shape, it's cross contour. The 5 easy steps to mastering. They use that a lot, mastering. There's another word they use as master. And, I guess they feel good, but they don't like babies. Okay, here we go. Boom, 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 boom. And here you can put a cast shadow. You're going to master drawing in 5 easy lessons, 5 days. Okay. All right, so it's going to go this way. Let's go this way. So how do we do it at school? Well, the kids start really young. We are getting some older people, and the first thing you have to do is convince them that they're not dying yet. You still have time. You're 80, but it doesn't mean you're dying. And it's the joy of the learning that'll keep you young. So let's go have fun. But most of the students at our school, they start really young. Some of them are 6, 5. But when you sit down to teach them, you teach them the same way. They're getting the old art center. We got kids that are 12 who draw really well. I've got a teacher named Kelly, student. She's 14 now. Oh, she's good. Drawings just look really good. So we're going to turn this into a female. How's that? So we go narrow on the rib cage. I guess the secret is, don't be afraid to teach them the real stuff. They'll come up and they go, I did a cross contour. I'm like, oh, thank you. I'll go do 10,000 more. because every form has cross contours. So you wrap around. But it's where it turns is where it gets concentrated. Can you see that? We're definitely ahead of the AI. Nobody at our school is afraid of AI. We see it as a tool. We don't really use it. But if you have a question, it's a good way to get a kind of general answer. Always draw through. So if the rib cage is going this way, make the head go the other way. So the way to do that is to go from the pit of the neck to the back of the ear, and then step on over side of the head, and then down. And that'll give you your front plane. There's the ear. Get your measurements. One head down to the sternum. We used to say one head down to the nipples, but let's be honest with you. You got a pool party. Most of the guys' nipples are way down here. So if you're measuring from here to here, the head's going to be really huge. So, but the sternum stays pretty much. The xiphoid process pretty much stays in the same place. If your xiphoid process is like hanging down low, you might want to call 911. Okay, go. But nipples, they're all over the place, but they're flapping in the wind. So I would guess it's a good way to start, but it's not gonna, nail it for you. Cross contours. Yeah, really buff arms. So there you go. So my favorite thing is just go to Getty and just sketch. We're closing it for a year. It'd be like for some people, they're closing Disneyland. We're closing the Magic Kingdom. We don't know. For me, that's the Getty. I mean, if I had a choice to go to the Getty and sit in the library alone and draw, or go to Disneyland, I would go to the Getty. I'm just such a recluse, just sit and study. I love it. And then go out and have a peanut butter and jelly sandwich and watch everybody like I do on my sketchbook and just draw them. And then go into the gallery, and draw from the paintings. Study the people. I like to play, like, who is this person? Like, what do they do for a living and stuff? I love to just try to figure out who they are. I see people on dates, and like one of them is usually bored. It's like, do they really play the game? Do they really give a shit? Type of thing. And they always do this. They're always like, "That's interesting. I really like the way they handled the brushwork and the momentum of the brushwork." And of course their partner is just in love, and they're like, "You're amazing." Yeah, well, I was born with this. I took a 2-day seminar on how to be a great, painter. So, I know how to do this. You're my hero. And I'm just sitting there. drawing, listening, or watching. I mean, you have headphones, but it's really cute. And then you just build it up, where the cross contour turns is where you're going to have your shadow. They're like on a first date and they go to the Getty. And the guy says, really interesting approach to art. And the girl's like, I love you. Let's have a baby. It's like, it's really funny. Okay. I think I love you. Art. Okay. So you see that? Okay. Just a sketch. Let's do some more.